Howdy y'all, yet again introducing another new series to my channel called Fanon Things. So here I'll be releasing all of my entry point headcanons, AUs, designs, ideas, all of the things that I've been spilling onto Angel, I can now spill onto all of you. I'm sure he's thankful, because he's tired of listening to me. Here I'll be going a tad bit unscripted, since usually I have the story all finished and written down and I just need to tell it, so there's not much scripting to do. Anyways, I'm excited to share. This is about an AU I made called Rivera's Rebellion. If you don't know what an AU is, AU stands for Alternate Universe, which is basically a tweaked version of the original story to make things different. Sometimes it can be as simple as, what if Ren didn't have ASPD? To things as wild as changing the entire world that entry point takes place in. I'll be sharing more than AUs in this series, but first, we're starting with Rivera's Rebellion. Also, I recommend watching my theories before watching any of these videos, because all of these storylines are assuming that my theories are true in canon, so you're going to be very confused if you haven't seen them. But if you haven't played Freelance Heist and haven't seen my Freelance Heist theory, don't worry, you're good here. I'll offer a spoiler warning if I ever mention anything about the Freelance Heist. Anyways, let's start. The AU starts off like the normal storyline at first. Rivera is just minding her own business, then she gets kidnapped into Halcyon. But instead of just working on trying to get herself out of there, she thinks that since she's so intelligent and clearly the government hasn't been able to catch Halcyon, that it is her responsibility to help take it down. And so, she starts forming a plan to get rid of Halcyon too. She plans to tear it apart from the inside, starting a rebellion. Just like in the canon storyline, she finds the wiretaps that expose that the director used Jackdaw. Now that she's found her bait, she has to find a recruit. Fortunately, she finds Falcon's file, and learns about his past with Steel Cove and how he basically had no choice but to join Halcyon. She deduces that because of this, he likely still has morals, and is trapped here against its own will. Falcon is an extremely trusted operative, so he's a great first recruit. Then she goes to approach him. First, she uses the wiretap to reveal that the director is a backstabber. Then Rivera says that she knows about his past and sympathizes with him. She knows that he can be a better person. She knows that this is his chance for redemption. He can finally take down Halcyon. And this works out very well, because as we know from our Falcon theory, Falcon is miserable in Halcyon and has very strong morals and is very headstrong, so he jumps at this opportunity. Rivera now has one recruit. Then the director orders the assassination of Finch and Rose to Falcon and Ren. Falcon goes ahead and tells Rivera about this, and she tells him to recruit them. So instead of killing Rose and Pyre, Falcon spares her and tells her that Finch will die if they don't go and save him right now. Rose doesn't know why he's helping her right now, but clearly he's a friendly. Falcon and Rose both run over to the scene and murder Ren. Finch is extremely confused but unharmed. That's when Rivera appears. She tells them both about her rebellion, and Rose admits to being a traitor to Phoenix. Rose and Finch are now on Rivera's side, and she tells them to just go to Phoenix for now and wait for more orders from her. Unfortunately, a sacrifice has to be made. The director isn't going to believe that Rose escaped while Falcon is unharmed. They unfortunately have to injure Falcon in order to make the story that Rose escaped more reliable. Rose slits Falcon's shoulder open with a knife. He goes back to the director and tells him that Rose and Finch escaped, and Ren isn't responding to his radio. Oh, and since Falcon never attacked Rose, Rose never made that call to Jackdaw, so Jackdaw never arrived. The director is disappointed, but also fooled by the story. Next, Rivera plans on allying with Phoenix. But right now, Jackdaw would never take them seriously. Rivera's rebellion is far too small right now, consisting of only 4 people. Her group needs to be way bigger if she wants to make a deal with Jackdaw. So Rivera and Falcon both start recruiting operatives using the wiretap. Of course, using the argument that the director is a backstabber, he threw away his best operative, why won't he throw away you? This is an extremely convincing argument, so the majority of the operatives they've approached have agreed. There were very few non-believers, and all non-believers were killed, so there was no chance of anyone being a spy for Halcyon. They spent a year gathering operatives until eventually they're large enough to approach Jackdaw. Rivera calls up Rose and tells her to organize a meeting. They plan to meet up in an alleyway. Rivera and Falcon arrive. Rose is already there, and from the shadows, out steps a ginormous man. It's Jackdaw himself. Rivera begins to tell Jackdaw about the rebellion she's created. All the operatives on her side are called insurgents. All she asks for is for him to be on her side. On a specific date, Rivera's insurgents plan on launching attacks all over Halcyon, slowly overtaking it and tearing it apart from the inside. Phoenix would give them a great boost. It would also be a better chance of taking down Halcyon. Although Jackdaw was a little bit adamant on his own plan, he could not let a great opportunity like this go to waste. Jackdaw is muscly and Rivera is incredibly intelligent. Both of them together would be an incredible duo, so he accepts the deal. Now both sides are training and preparing for the day they take down Halcyon. Rivera's insurgents all tie green bands around their arms. This is so they don't confuse each other for regular Halcyon operatives. Throughout Rivera's entire plan, Rivera and Falcon have become close friends, which is great, they deserve it. Finally, the day comes to take down Halcyon. Phoenix and Rivera's insurgents are all spread out over multiple Halcyon bases, ready to strike. Jackdaw and Rivera are both leading Falcon, Finch, Rose, Sparrow, and multiple others into battle. They're both ready to see the fall of Halcyon. Together, Jackdaw and Rivera both demand that the strikes begin. Absolute chaos breaks out everywhere. Bloodshed, gunfire, violence, everyone is fighting each other. Rivera's insurgents have a fantastic advantage. Halcyon doesn't exactly know who is on Rivera's side. They can easily take off their green bands and pretend to be one of them, sneak in, hear about Halcyon's plans to counter, tell Rivera, and then they react on those plans. The battle wages on for months, and Phoenix and Rivera's insurgents are winning. Halcyon is very weak and on the verge of collapse. Now comes the finishing touch to make sure Halcyon is gone forever, the death of the director. Together, the two leaders storm into his location. Rivera isn't really watching. She isn't interested in revenge, nor blood. She doesn't like getting her hands dirty at all. She doesn't even like violence. She just wanted justice. She just wanted Halcyon gone. Jackdaw says otherwise though, and when Rivera lets him take the kill, he gladly jumps at the opportunity. Jackdaw murders the director, and now Halcyon is no more. Phoenix and Rivera's insurgents are victorious. And yes, during the months of battle, all the personal stuff with Rivera telling Jackdaw to be a better dad still happens. And that's the end of the AU. Honestly, considering how I really like violence and dark stories, that strangely had a happy ending. A lot of the main characters lived. I wasn't aiming for that, I was just aiming for the most logical conclusion. But I'm glad it turned out that way. Anyways, I really hope y'all like the AU. I'm really proud of it. I have so many other AUs and design ideas that I really want to share, so I'm hoping that you'll be willing to listen to more. The root of this AU was really just Rivera deciding that she should take action. Nothing about her character changed, just her decisions. It's not one of those AUs where a character is changed for the sake of the story. Well, see ya. Wait, don't go yet. 3 things I need to mention. 1, I forgot to mention how Ren is killed exactly. First, Falcon tackles Ren, then Rose bashes his head into the ground, and according to some doctors I know, brain damage is not good for your body. 2, when Jackdaw and Rivera first launched the attack, it's probably not going to be done in future animations that I make about this, if I ever get the motivation to make them. And yes, since Black Dust is a part of the attacks, Black Dust still happens, but someone else is actually there with him, Rose. Together they get the bombs planted faster, so they actually live. 3. Speaking of AUs, I know 3 extremely talented fans of mine. Post Notion, Darren Now, and Savage Thunder. They made an AU too, an Office AU, which is basically Entry Point except it's an office company and not a criminal warfare. And what do you know? It's a game! And what do you know? That icon looks familiar. You never thought you would see Jackdaw in a suit, but here we are now. They showed me the game and it was absolutely incredible. They were making amazing progress and it all looked so good. It's not just some cheap 5-year-old thrown together game. No, these 3 are very talented. So please check it out. You won't regret it. Link to the game will be in the description. Thank you. See y'all.